Two children died in a fire in Philadelphia on Tuesday, and budget cuts could be to blame. In an effort to cut spending, the city of Philadelphia browned out, their phrase, or closed some of their fire stations for a day. One of those fire stations closed was Engine 61, and it was the one that was nearest to the fire that killed those two children, and thus would have been the first on the scene. Now, some firefighters are suggesting that if Engine 61 had been operational, lives would have been saved that day. Local firefighter Mike Kane said, "What we can say is maybe if they were there, maybe them kids would have had a shot." So are we seeing the real-life consequences of heavy-handed budget cutting? Joining me from New York to defend Republican cuts to our commons is T.J. McCormick. T.J., welcome.
Thanks, Tom. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Why do you hate Ben Franklin?
He's bald and chubby.
No, seriously, he started the first fire department in Philadelphia. I don't understand. What's wrong with firefighters?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with firefighters. As a matter of fact, I think that firefighters and police and first responders should actually not be the ones to be having their budgets cut. I think budgets need to be cut, and I think that obviously you can find a direct connection between what's going on in Philadelphia and in New York. We had similar things happen in New York, and what's going on in Wisconsin. We need to prioritize which budgets we cut, and I think there's a big difference between as important as teachers are. I think we need to look at taking the money from the right place, from the wrong place, put it in the right place. And I think public safety, first responders, those people who put their lives on the line, those are the people who need to be funded and funded well.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, what you're saying is that you think that some workers should have the right to negotiate their own safety conditions, their own pay, things like that, but other workers shouldn't. They should just be basically screwed, or they should just do whatever their boss says.
We have an unholy alliance between, I think we have, sorry to interrupt, Tom, we have an unholy alliance here between civil employee unions and politicians. What this amounts to is...
What's unholy about negotiating your working conditions, TJ?
What's unholy is that it's taxation without representation. The taxpayers have no say in these negotiations. You have unions negotiating with politicians. Those politicians.
The taxpayers have all the say in it. It's called elections. We have a representative democracy. Right. This is not a pure democracy.
Exactly. Exactly, Tom. And just as we said last week when I was live in your presence, elections have consequences, which is exactly what's happening in Wisconsin. And when the people of Philadelphia, a Democrat-run city, just like Chicago and Los Angeles, which is falling apart, there are going to be consequences. And I believe a lot of these city councils are going to be taken back. But again, it's about prioritizing. And I think common sense, practical thinking Americans realize that while teachers are important, and they are very, very important, they are not gods.
So,
and they are not,
so you're repeating your point that some people should have the right to have collective bargaining, and other workers shouldn't. I understand. I've got it. Most billionaires just got a sweetheart deal in Congress. It caps out their top tax rate at 15%, while their janitors and secretaries pay up to 35%. How can you possibly squeal about unions when children are dying because of a lack of tax dollars?
Oh, you're talking about the Philadelphia fire. I would imagine that 15% of a multi-billionaire, how many pounds of flesh do we want to take from any one individual human being in this country?
Why should billionaires, why should the average income of the top 20 hedge fund managers in Manhattan is $2 billion a year? And on average, they pay about 15%, actually 17% on average, total income tax, because most of them are paying at the 15% rate, as do guys like Mitt Romney who start, leverage buyout companies, as do people like Paris Hilton who make a living sitting around the pool waiting for the dividend check. Don't you think those people should pay the same as working people, and then we wouldn't have to cut firefighters? And we wouldn't be fighting about
if we're
the
talking
teachers?
about Paris Hilton, we could just take from her. I doubt she'd really notice. I'm all for taking advantage of the dim-witted. No, you know,
No.
look, I don't think we should ever look at taxation and tax rates and tax policies in terms of fair and unfair. We don't need to engage
Why
in
not?
class warfare in this country.
Wait,
I think we are.
Fairness
that's
is
what people do.
a fundamental
People sit there-
American value, TJ.
A fundamental American value is do everything you can to succeed and exceed your own expectations of yourself and enjoy your liberty.
And let's rig the game so that the rich just get to get as rich as they possibly can, even if the consequence is that children die because there's no firehouses.
How many of these janitors and service people and all of this, how many people of the great unwashed like myself, how many people are actually paying taxes? You're talking, you know, again, what is the number? I've said it so many times now, it's almost
100% of them are paying taxes, TJ. You know that. They're paying payroll taxes, they're paying sales taxes, they're paying property taxes.
Right, but income tax, and we're all paying those. Income taxes is what we're talking about here. That's what that 15%
well, then
is that you're talking about.
Maybe you'll join me in endorsing Robert Reich's proposal that everybody below $50,000 pay no income tax whatsoever, and that the top over 15 million pay 70%. Anyhow, TJ, we're out of time. Thanks for being with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, it was good to see you again, Tom.
Thank you. What we saw in the Philadelphia fire are the real-life consequences of budget cutting. It's really interesting. In 2010, this is in Philadelphia where this happened. And let me just show you this graphic. This is from Philly.com. This is one of the newspapers there, the website. Philadelphia region ranks 6th in number of millionaires.